Phil Cabell and Councillor Whitmore really framed stuff for me right early on. What's this about? This is about enhancing passenger experience and increasing numbers of users. And that frame is a very, very clear frame. And I'd suggest that, that there's nobody here who disagrees with that kind of frame. It's the overarching frame for all activity and strategy that thinking, any creative work has to drive towards increasing those things, fulfilling those aims. Passenger experience enhanced, increasing numbers of users. So that's all okay, no problem with that, we'll agree on that. But what is that? How do you do that? What is enhanced passenger experience? The numbers thing is easier. But what is it? So then we have Liam's fantastic review of the history of public art from Neolithic times to the present day. I wanted to see the Neolithic bust draw up. The Neolithic bust thought that obviously video wasn't invented then. But Liam's key, in a way, in terms of the whole plan, the whole history that he worked out, reflected or anticipated rather, lots of commentary that came later. And so from my point of view really, what Liam said was about people, not stuff. That actually the progress of the strategy, where we're at in public art terms, for those of us who are kind of practitioners in the public, is to look at relationships between people. What are they about? How do they become meaningful? How do they develop? How do we enhance and reveal those relationships between people? It isn't about things. It isn't about infrastructure, it's actually about folks. And so, and you also mentioned that on the panel, and throughout the day there's been that kind of mention of this kind of approach, and it is an approach, people not stuff. So all that kind of focuses things a little more, and that was very useful for me to hear Liam saying that, because it's kind of philosophical position, which I agree with. I think it's a really great kind of position to start from in the context of passenger experience, increased numbers, so that all kind of works. But then you've got, what does that mean? What does people not stuff really, how do you do that? What does that mean? How do you enhance people's experience by focusing on them? And so that obviously brought us to Andy's presentation about where the strategy is at the minute. And it's obviously in process. This is all a fantastic part of that. I suppose it means local participation. Liam mentioned about stuff coming in from the fringe. It means looking at the very, very rich environment that the transport crosses, uses, encompasses. Whether that's stuff which is not usually thought of in the transport environment, such as the bus stop, such as the tram stop, or the experience on transport, but also all that stuff on the periphery. What's seen from above, what's seen from below, how people do things, where they do them, all of that kind of thing. So people mention Twitter, food, events, intervention, skewing, slight alterations to the habit, as ways in which all of these things deal with people and relationships with people rather than just dealing with stuff. And part of all of that is that people are risky. Working with folks is risky. It's much riskier than saying iconic artist, big curator, lots of money, and we're going to create a big silent, solid, permanent, imposing, iconic thing, which in a sense isn't about relationships at all. It's a residue of some limited relationship. So all of that is risky. If you work with folks, don't mimic my hand movements, but I'll just get worse. That's risky. Working with folks is risky, inherently risky. Stuff really goes wrong. Folks don't know what they want, they don't know when they want it, they don't know anything about that kind. They don't know why you're there, they don't know why you're talking to you, you don't necessarily know why you're talking to them. All of that encompasses risk. You might have aims, strategies, objectives. When you get involved with people, all of that is in play, and that's where the risk lies. So the other side of that, I think I said it actually, I would say something I said, the other side of risk is learning. Is actually all of this is an opportunity to feed, through learning, through taking risks, to feed actually the way in which the transport develops as a network and as an infrastructure and as a group of people. So that in future, that is all bound up with the development of a better transport service. The other thing that really came to the fore for me was this discussion of the route, which may be or may not be a red herring. That'll be for Liam and Andy to kind of work through. But it was fairly obvious to lots of folks. I've heard lots of folks say that the route is a kind of defining, thinking about, philosophizing the route is a kind of key to the curatorial approach to developing ideas about people, about relationships between people. And so what is the route is a big question. I think it's a big question that comes again and again and again. Is it a bus route? Is it an infrastructure route? Is it something that crosses this, that and another? Is it a politically kind of inflected thing? Is it to do with funding for this, participation with that? What is it? When I suggested that there are many routes, lots of people suggested different routes. Routes based around people's experience rather than infrastructure. Having said that, you have to start somewhere. And so the idea was that a route might open up possibilities rather than shut them down. And I think that was something which was reflected in different commentary across the afternoon, is that how you choose the route, where you start, will reveal what you do next. It will be something which develops. So that was really where we were at, kind of up to about our kind of discussion groups. So location, trains, hub, street, day, night, location, it seems to be what people do. It's not a building, it's not this, it's not that, it's what people do when and where. Who does stuff with a ticket with rabbits? Yeah, that's location. That's not just stuff, that's location, that's people. The monotonous routine, which was mentioned a couple of times, is that folks don't like their travel, it's dull. They don't want to be on it, they want to get off it. That also is location. All of these things can be worked with, I think. I kind of hear it that stuff. The discussion groups showed, crikey, that essentially they showed how plural the experience of travel and transport is in the city. That's really what they showed to me, is how much layering and contradiction and richness there is in the experience of travel. We were all thinking, oh, fantastic, if we were on this, if we were on that, we are on this, we are on that. And so that's something which I think it has to be stated in strategy. It's something clearly which has come out today, is how rich and diverse the experience of the network is. And so it's as much railway siding as sitting. It's as much metro stop or bus side, which might paint something on. The transport is 2 a.m. It's 7 a.m. The whole, it's very, very common. So also, that is kind of key. What I heard was that travel experience of the network encompasses lots of different types of emotional state, intimacy, display, calm, bustle, contemplation, focus, monotony and the drudgery of the routine, and time for rest as well. So, possible relationships that can be explored through this work, through this project, are really myriad, but they're not random and they're not vague. Everyone's been very precise today about what they want. This happens, that happens. We think it's this, not that. There's been a surprising consensus. Because I think that's how the richness of this kind of the situation, the transport situation, works itself out in the room. So just to recap, people want stuff. This is what I've heard today. The route, the strategy, what is it? The richness of people's experience